Aloha, it's Christy with the Scrap-alicious Applique channel. Today I want to do a bag tour of my sew together bag that has all these wonderful pockets in it. It keeps all of my hand sewing supplies organized when I'm on the go. There's needles and needle threaders and needle keepers and pin cushions and thread scrap containers and so much more. I thought it would be a lot of fun for new sewers especially to see all of the tools that we use for our hand sewing. So stay tuned and we'll have some fun taking a peek inside this bag.
Okay, I'm back. Let's take a peek at what's in my applique travel bag. It's all my hand sewing supplies, and I never know what I'm going to need, so I absolutely love this bag. It is a pattern called the Sew Together bag that you can find online. They also have lots of great YouTube tutorials on how to make this. I added a couple little crystals for fun. Inside, lots of goodies in here. Let's start with the front. What's nice about this bag, I don't know if you can see it, let me push it forward. There's a little flap here that folds down, so you get a little shelf if you're on the airplane to hold your scissors and thread so that it doesn't roll onto the floor when you're working. So in the first little pocket, I have some little thimbles that will stick to your finger when you need an extra little protection on your finger for pushing through thick fabrics. I also keep a leather thimble. Sometimes I'm just in the mood for a certain project I'm working on where I want to have something a little more sturdy. In this pocket, I have my two little scissors. I got a little pair of gingers and the little stork scissors. The next pocket is all my needles. So I have embroidery needles. I have in-between quilting needles. Different kinds, hand quilting needles. But my favorite are the Anita Shackelford embroidery applique needles. She has a size 11 that's real thin, size 10. And anyway, I will go over all of these in another video on when you're actually doing sewing. So that's in that pocket. The next pocket, I have a little needle holder, holds all my different kinds of needles. And I have surgical tape. Why do I have surgical tape? Well, just like you have these other thimbles that I showed you, the surgical tape, you just put it on your finger. I don't wear thimbles. I find them too cumbersome and I get tangled in them. But sometimes this finger starts to get real sore from pushing when I'm working on batiks. So if you just take a little piece of surgical tape and stick it on your sore finger, now it's protected and you can sew without hurting your finger. This works absolutely great. It's the best thimble I have ever found for doing applique. When you're done, you just take it off, throw it away. Works fabulous. I keep a glue stick handy. I keep Dritz Fray Check handy for fraying spots. We'll go over that in the future videos. I have a nifty needle threader, a Clover needle threader. I use it because I'm sight impaired. I cannot see the tiny needle heads on the applique needles. And so if you have a really fine head needle and silk thread, this threads it beautifully. You don't have to see anything. You just put it in there. I'll explain that later in future videos. Here I've got all kinds of marking pens and pencils and a nail file. You never know when you have a rough fingernail. So that's all kinds of marker pens. This pocket, I have to have magnifiers to see my stitches. I have a magnetic pen dish if I need it, extra pens. I have that trusty little collapsing needle, thread catcher. And I have a video that explains how to do that, how to make those. And I also have a necklace lanyard with one of these Clover, you can see the little blades in between each point. So when you're on the airplane and you can't have scissors, This will cut your threads. And you just put it around your neck, a little magnetic clasp. And then you aren't losing your cutting apparatus on the airplane on the floor. And the next pocket is just miscellaneous. I have a ruler. I have some Aleene's fabric glue. I'll explain that in future videos, what I do with it. Thread Heaven thread conditioner. Another needle threader. Different sizes on each end. This is for removing, after you rip the seam apart, this rubber takes all the loose threads off. I have a little mini seam ripper. And this is a very tiny little crochet hook that's microscopic for pulling fabrics through to the other side of your quilt or whatever you're working on. Pencil sharpener. Post-it notes if I want to make a note on a block to remember to do a bead on an eye or embroidery on the legs or something that I don't want to forget before I put the quilt together. I have a little mini pincushion. I have more thimblet stickers for your fingers. These are very handy too. I used to use these a lot until I discovered the surgical tape. These are a little more protection than the surgical tape, so I keep them in here. Sometimes I do use them. I can't get it back in there. This is a little folding thread catcher, and I keep a little piece of cardboard to stick in the bottom. I bought this at a Houston quilt show, Houston Quilt Festival. But I designed my own. This one's really bulky, and I wanted something thinner, so I designed my own. That's a set of 3 nesting, and you'll see a video for that I did. And here is where I store all the little gadgets that you don't want to lose. So I have the needle minder that's magnetic that goes on your blouse that'll hold your needle. I have another leather thimble, another needle threader, safety pins sometimes you need. And here, these are needle pullers so that you can, if you're going through like 4 layers of batik and you can't get that needle through, this will grab the needle and pull it. They come in different they're called needle pullers if you look them up online. This one does embroidery and floss and needlepoint threads, and another needlepoint threader. Different size embroidery needles that are big. Another threader, all kinds of little threaders in there. You just never know what you might need for what type of gauge of threads or yarns you're working with. And here's a nifty little gadget. If you don't like things on your neck on the airplane, or if you're doing a lot of hand sewing, don't want to be picking up your scissors up and down, you just put on this little ring, and it has little blades inside for cutting your thread, and it's adjustable. I really like that one for the plane also. And then I have, put this on here. These are also needle pullers. They're rubbery, and so you can, as you're sewing along, then you pull, sewing along and pull. And I know with batiks, I haven't tried these yet, I just bought them, but I think that will be really handy rather than reach for the other needle puller. I can just keep sewing, because I sew with these 2 fingers and I feel with that one, but then I can, when I come up top to pull the needle, I can use this to really get a good grip on the needle. So those are cool. Those are online as well. Look for needle grippers. And that, I think, is the end of what I have in the bag. So I hope you enjoyed my tour of my sewing bag. If you liked the video, hit like below. And be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of the great patterns that I design and projects. And I provide free patterns. Have a good day.